No, the intro is this. Hello, world. I'm just not that into games.
And I'm Sam Gillespie.
Done.
Hello and welcome to I'm Just Not That Into Games. Now I guess we'll get straight into it then? Or
We'll get straight into it. So, Sam, what will I be playing this week?
this week's game will be Braid. Braid is a 2D platformer puzzle game. You play as Tim, a seemingly normal man on a quest to rescue the princess, a standard video game trope. The game that has you exploring different worlds, and each level has a number of different puzzle pieces to collect. You need to solve puzzles in order to grab these pieces. It's fairly standard stuff so far, nothing world-breaking right there. But the game does have one innovative mechanic to really spice up these puzzles. At any time, you can press the rewind time button to revert to a previous point on that particular run. So you can, if you fall down a pit and die, you can just rewind to go back to the top. So if you make a mistake, you can usually undo it. However, as you start to progress through the game, they start to mess with that rule and have items in the world that are immune to your rewinding time power. So then you need to try and navigate in a two-dimensional way and also in a time way to try and solve different puzzles. And then as the game goes by, they start to do more and more with that time mechanic, with some levels where when you move right, the time goes forward, and when you move left, time goes backwards, and you need to use these to solve puzzles. Braid has really well thought out puzzles, just clever puzzles all the way through it. And I found myself having lots of really good aha moments whenever the solution finally clicked for a puzzle. In my opinion, this is one of the better puzzle games out there, since each puzzle offers something different and unique, and there's very little of purely repeated puzzle elements. Each one of them sort of feels dynamic and independent. It goes without saying that this game has absolutely gorgeous art, where they've put a lot of attention into making the entire world seem hand-painted. And the music for the game is really amazing. They just took some very nice classical-inspired music and just threw it over the top, and it just works so well within that world. I reckon that you will find something to really enjoy in there. So give it a go and tell me how far you get.
So, I like puzzles.
Yeah. Jigsaw puzzles?
No, I hate jigsaw puzzles. But I like puzzles. And I have seen stuff about Braid before.
Right.
Okay.
What have you seen?
How it looks.
Mm-hmm.
How many people worked on this game?
I know there was Jonathan Blow was the lead designer, and I know I forgot his name, the guy that did the art. It was a very small team.
Yeah,
but it was a small team working for many years.
Okay. Still though, I've seen the art of the game, and I'm pretty sure I've heard some of the music. So it's you're right, from what I've seen, it's a very spectacular looking game, which makes me a little scared. Because you don't want to like the game, is that No. I'm not. I'm here as a objective observer of games, right?
I'm fully objective
observer, and I'm just telling you how I'm feeling and what they're making me feel. Now, I have played another game which looked the bomb, right? It was called Bastion.
Yep.
And I didn't have a good time with Bastion.
Well, I reckon you'll enjoy this a lot more than Bastion.
I'll be the judge of that.
All right, so did you have a very puzzling experience?
That's a joke. Okay, there was jigsaw puzzles in this game.
What?
Yeah, no, but they were very light touch.
Yeah,
a very light touch. So when I initially saw the jigsaw puzzle, I was like, jigsaw, bloody puzzle. But then I was like, you didn't have to do much with the jigsaw puzzles.
They were easy puzzles. They were just there to finish it.
So here we go. Bottom line. Do you want to hear my bottom line? I think I would have kept playing Braid, but probably not for a lot longer.
Right. Too hard?
Okay, look, it was... Yeah, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't too hard. It was just hard enough. You know what I mean? Just
sure.
A perfect level of hardness for me.
Okay,
it was fun. I got the puzzles. I was having fun with the puzzles, and it was a really relaxing and beautiful game to play. So the music and graphics were just gorgeous. And here's something that really struck me about Braid. I'm sitting here playing this game, and I think to myself, this is an enjoyable experience, the kind of enjoyable experience I would expect for the money I've paid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I don't think I've been really entertained in that way from most of the games we've played so far. Like I don't think they were really an entertainment experience like Braid was.
Yep.
The closest I think I've come to being entertained like I was in Braid was Papers, Please.
Yep.
But even then, I didn't enjoy myself as much playing Papers, Please as I did Braid, even though I was intrigued and taken in by Papers, Please, at least initially, right?
Right.
Now, I still don't have a really clear idea of what appealed to me about Braid, but I have some ideas.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see it.
So I've already mentioned the music and the graphics, but they bear mention again.
Yeah.
It'd be fair to say that the game got me on side right from the get-go because of the way it looked and the way it sounded. Now, here's something I've not seen in any of the games we've played so far. I felt like the art was not only there as part of the game, but it was there as an entity all by itself.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and the same goes for the music. I felt the game was really focused on me loving it when there was nothing actually happening, and it felt like the sound and the graphics had been designed that way.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot in the art that they've done to actually animate everything. Even when everything's standing perfectly still, there's still the brush strokes that move around inside everything. So the whole world feels like it's being painted by some like crazy painter that's doing it in real time. And things are changing
gorgeous.
each one. It's just you can sit there and just look at the screen and just be like,
Yeah, and exactly that feeling. And I was like, you know, if you're going to throw all these graphics and music at me and all this kind of stuff, like if you make it gorgeous and beautiful, it's like a professionally done movie as opposed to something shot on a handy cam by smart students.
Yep.
Yes, they might both have the same plot, but care has been taken to let the viewer, the person who's consuming this entertainment product, to just give them a nice experience. It's like, you know, you've gone to the trouble to make it nice for me to consume, to make it something that you know I'll find enjoyable.
yeah. It's definitely one of the standout performances in that game.
Yeah, it is. And that's the reason. And look, I'm going to make a note here about how I play these games. So normally I play them on a Saturday morning, and Braid was no different. And Saturdays for me are always my day off, so I'm always looking for something entertaining and relaxing. I say this because I might have been predisposed to a game experience like this. That said, I did like FTL and Papers, Please, and I don't think we could really call them relaxing.
No, they're
games,
definitely very stressful games.
But I just thought I'd make that point because it's like halfway through it, I went, geez, I'm having a relaxing, nice time. And geez, it's been a big week last week. Ooh, I wonder if I'm enjoying this because it's just simply low volume.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm actually finding that I'm myself liking low intensity games a lot more nowadays, just because it's a nice way to unwind, and it's just easy to open and easy to get into, and you don't feel pressured.
Well, you think of the experience of watching TV or movies, which is completely passive.
Yep.
I mean, those things are way more passive than a game and way more relaxing because of that. I mean, Braid felt more like that to me.
Yep.
Now, another thing I think contributed to me liking this game was that each of the puzzles were contained to one or two screens. This is getting back to the relaxing thing. They seem to involve a minimum of running around and jumping, and I thought the puzzles were most interesting when they had the least to do with how well you timed your jumps and the most to do with putting things together.
Yep.
Now, it took me about 15 to 20 minutes to realize that time rewind mechanic wasn't applied consistently across the game.
Yeah.
And man, it was just a huge aha moment when I discovered this. And I discovered it in that level. You had to first interact with a switch that triggered something. And I physically yelled out.
Yeah.
I just yelled out like, oh my God, they're doing this thing. It's not all what you think it is.
Yeah. Just having some objects just exist outside of that timeline.
Yeah, I know, and it's nuts. And I remember you telling me that it's not all what you think it is. You know, like, and I'd forgotten completely about that. And then that came back to me, and I kept rewinding in different things. And I was like, there's more. There's so much more going on here. I don't understand how this moves. Yeah. So after that, I really enjoyed searching each puzzle for the elements that the time rewind mechanic wouldn't touch, or would touch in a way that was consistent with the rest of the level. So this part was really engaging for me. It was really, really rewarding. So, I mean, all those things are good, right?
Right.
Now,
Well, first of all, how far did you actually get? Did you start to see some of the more advanced time manipulation mechanics? Did you get to the level where when you move right, time moves forward, and when you move left, time moves backwards?
no, I didn't get there.
You didn't get to the part where you could drop a ring and the ring would slow down time if anything that was inside that field?
No, I didn't get
You
that
didn't get to
either.
the part where you can create a shadow version of yourself to go and...
Sam, are you just saying bits that are like, that
I'm
are
just
further
saying,
on the
all I'm
game?
just saying is that,
Okay, so in other words, you're saying the thing I liked, there was more of the thing I
Yeah.
liked further on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. let's keep that in mind.
Right.
Let's keep that in our minds.
Let's put it
when
in
we
the parking
move
lot.
to the next bit.
Okay.
Okay, because there was an end bit to my. I would have kept playing Braid longer, but not that much longer.
Right. And what's that?
Let's get into why not that much longer.
Alrighty.
Now, I wouldn't play Braid for much longer because it still feels like a game for kids.
Aww.
No. Now, the worst part of the puzzles was running and jumping. And although I previously said I thought they'd done a really good job keeping that well contained, it's still there and it's still not interesting.
I'll give you that one.
Now, kids enjoy moving a something around the screen just for the hell of moving something around a screen.
Right.
I used to enjoy doing that when I was like 9. I don't enjoy it now.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Braid's got a lot of that still.
But, well, you can't remove that element from the game.
Can't you?
Yeah, no, you can't.
Like it's digital. It feels like you can.
Yeah, I'm sure that you could just remove a whole pile of the game and it'd still be the same game.
Well, I mean, what are you doing? Like you're a game designer, you're a programmer. Like you can move digital bits.
I
It's
suppose.
Not, it's not. Yeah.
Alright.
It doesn't have to be a platform.
Okay, so yeah, moving things around in a digital space isn't intrinsically interesting. Okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah. Thank you. Point for Andrew. So,
Just the one.
and here goes. Now this is going to sound really harsh because
Yep.
it is.
Yes.
Okay. I have a real problem with the story.
Yep.
I'm loath to jump to conclusions, and what I'm about to say, like I said, is pretty harsh. But as I read the story, I immediately started to think of a nerdy man-child sitting in a basement writing romantic fan fiction. Now,
Okay.
I realise this is harsh. I don't mean it to be a crack at the writer or writers of this game,
Okay, yeah.
but that's how the game came across, and it definitely takes away from my enjoyment of it because it made it feel childish.
Right. Okay, so tell me what you think the story's about. Well, what did you get from the story? What made it so childish?
There is a princess
Right?
whom I loved,
Yes.
and now she has gone away.
Mm-hmm. That's all the story is?
Which to me, I just read between those lines straight away and went, some girl in school who I had a crush on in primary school didn't share her jelly with me 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I am now devastated about it. I've never had a girlfriend since.
Right.
Like, dude, it just... And I kept trying to get over that in my mind. No, seriously.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. And
yeah.
that's a very common criticism about people who've played Braid up until they play the ending.
So how far do I have to play Braid? How hard do I have to endure this childishness until I get to the ending?
It's only like a 5 or 6 hour game, but for you, probably 10 hours.
Well, because I've been
Because you're not very good at games.
No, look, I was decent. Yeah, that's true. I mean, what you say stinks of truth.
And I mean, we could probably just, you know what? Hey, do you want to try something a bit different? Why don't we just like pause this and I'll show you the final bit of the game and you can just pull it up?
I'm
Sound
keen
good?
for that.
So we just went through and watched the World 1 walkthrough video that was on YouTube. Just if you want to watch along, if you want to join into the conversation, if you haven't seen the ending. So yeah, what do you think?
So watching that and has changed my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
It has changed my opinion. Now, before all of that, that we just watched, was the game like it was before, like when I was playing?
I actually found that when I played through it a second time, like a year later, knowing the full beats of what's going to happen at the end, it did really recontextualize a lot of that thing from being just this, nerdy man-child sort of sitting in the basement writing. Yeah, I completely sort of agree that it definitely comes across like that the first time that it comes, that you read through it. But with that hindsight of knowing what's happened, it sort of feels like it's kind of analogous to losing the innocence of it, and like, you know, he just keeps focusing. He's spiraling down inside of this world of depression, as he's just fixated on this princess character.
Okay. You know, this is very interesting because seeing that happen now and making me feel the way, like thinking back and maybe reevaluating what I previously thought, makes me think about the way I've been really reevaluating Black Mirror, which I found incredibly tedious the first time.
Yep.
And I've since listened to a lot of people talk about how good it is and have forced myself to go back and watch. And I think it's better than what I first thought.
I'm quite a big fan of Black Mirror. It's now the Black Mirror podcast, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the same kind of thing. Like, I like on the face of it, the tediousness of it, and the sort of, you know, I got a mental model for it very early on. Yeah. And I was like, right. And then whatever happens, I'm like, yeah, whatever happens, man, nerdy motherfucker, here we go, doing his thing, you know, what a loser, blah, 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 right? And of course, you know, because I'm just such an ogre, you know, when I play these things.
I was going to say.
Yeah, no. And then, of course, when you see that, you're like, oh, that is pretty clever. That is pretty clever. And there is a fair bit of thought gone into that. You know, there's a lot deeper. There's a lot deeper. Like, there's a lot more layers here, which I was just skirting over because I'm like, nah, nailed it. I know what's going on. And move along.
And in all fairness, the way that the prose is delivered in the game is quite tedious. Like, you know, just those books of reading through lots and lots of stuff. And yeah, it could definitely have been spaced out a little bit better, or probably refined a little bit, maybe. And just,
I will give it this: using the book as the medium to deliver it, to deliver what is literally a page of a book. Right? Yeah. At least it contextualizes that for you and goes, look, there's a fair bit of reading here, and guess what? It's a book.
It's a book. Yeah.
There you go.
And you can completely skip over those books entirely inside the game, and you still get to witness that fantastic ending.
Okay.
Because in my opinion, like, Braid's ending is one of the top 10 endings of any video game ever. It's like one of those ones that just blew me away the first time I saw it.
Right.
Because you've been spending all this time in the world, you sort of had a feel for what it was about, and you sort of like, yeah, okay, it's just a lighthearted, fun romp, and then it's like, it's quite dark.
Yeah.
It just really turns from like, oh, this is this, like, you know, great escape, you know, love story, to being this really dark attack. So, Braid, where would you put this on your games list? Would you put it?
I don't have a games list.
Or
you know
on your
why I
ranking?
don't have a games list?
Why is that?
Because I'm just not that into games. To paraphrase Mike Skinner, a podcast don't come for free, and this one is no exception. So if you want to help us make this podcast forever, then please like and comment on our YouTube videos, find us on SoundCloud, and most importantly, which is the lifeblood of any podcast, is rate and review us on iTunes. We're not asking for a good review, we're asking for honest reviews.
Need to tell me up, enough is never enough. Don't know how to hurt, so just act tough.